You have submitted your report. I mean, the oral team has submitted its report to President John Dramani Mahama for further action. What does this press conference by the OSP mean? Does it mean anything to your work at all?
Yes. In fact, this is what we are looking for. The ultimate we are looking for is a thorough investigation to see whether people are culpable or not. If they are not culpable, well, they go scot-free. But if they are culpable, then the monies involved, we do whatever is possible to recover the monies and maybe punish the people, because we cannot continue running a country the way it is going. You go to our hospitals, you look at them, and you are like, what is this? You go to our schools, it is nothing to write home about. You look at our roads, meanwhile we have a lot of resources as a country. So I am very happy that OSP has stepped up their action, and more kudos to them. I support what they are doing. Thank you.
Now, finally, before I let you go, in terms of our corruption fight, what does this mean?
Yeah, you see that the corruption perception index was released, I think, yesterday or 2 days ago. And Ghana has dropped from 43 to 42, which means that our corruption perception is worsening. And I think it's not just perception, the corruption issues in Ghana are worsening. So with this type of action and others that I expect to follow, it may increase or improve our corruption perception. Actually, not just the perception, but we must deter corruption. We must make public officers know that even if they run away from accountability today, tomorrow we will catch up with them. So I support what they are doing very well. Thank you.
Is this an indication that you have faith in the government to fight corruption?
Of course, yes. I have every faith. If I have no faith in the government fighting corruption, I wouldn't have joined the oral team in the first place. It would have been a waste of my time. So I have a faith in government that is going to fight corruption. And I'm happy they are starting with the big fishes. It disturbs me that many times we go after the small boys and girls. I'm happy they are going for the big fishes. We should find out if they are involved, they hold them accountable. If they are not involved, yes, we set them free. But the good thing is that it will deter people from misusing our resources. And again, if resources have been misused, they may be recovered by the OSP. So more grace to the elbows of the OSP.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. That's Daniel Domolevo. He's a former Auditor General and a member of the Operation Recover or Loot team. We'll stay a while longer on the special prosecutor because at that press conference, he also says investigations have been launched into alleged embezzlement of 1.3 billion cedis fund from the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF, at the National Petroleum Authority. Let's hear him.
We has also commenced investigation into suspected corruption and corruption-related offences in respect of an alleged embezzlement of 1.3 billion cedis from the Unified Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF, at the National Petroleum Authority, NPA. The investigation primarily targets the following persons: the coordinator of the UPPF, Mr. Jacob Amwa, NPA staff Frida Tando, NPA staff Wendy Ashon Newman, and the former chief executive of NPA, Mustafa Abdul Hamid.
Special Prosecutor Kisei Jabende. Let's now go over the phone lines and speak with Duncan Amwa. He's Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPE. Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us here on the news.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
This revelation by the OSP, is it surprising to you?
Indeed. There's been questions surrounding the entire petroleum pricing build-up. What sort of items have been inputted over the years, not just under the immediate past administration, but over the years. So on a number of occasions, we've had cause to complain that prices of petroleum products could be reduced if we took out some of the taxes, some of the levies, margins. In recent times, however, it's become a certain norm where instead of taxes now going even through Parliament, you wake up and already existing taxes have been increased against the suffering Ghanaian. And so you go to the pump, Parliament has not approved new taxes, but the total tax exposure to you is higher than it previously was because they are not adding new line items, but sometimes adding on, sometimes even to the UPPF. And so it doesn't come that surprising that we are now getting to this point where the petroleum price build-up we are opening up for investigations into the taxes so collected, what they have been applied to. I'm sure this will help shape up how much really you should pay for fuel at the pumps. We would also avail ourselves, any day at all, to aid OSP and any other investigative body with whatever little bits of information that, as a civil society front, we've been able to study over the period, so that whatever could be done to trim down some of these taxes, like the UPPF, we could do that. You have a situation where some 28 pesos somewhere have been added to your fuel that you pay for today, and then the excuse is that there's a contract that needs to be paid for called electronic cargo tracking. So you end up wondering, is it that we are buying, these trackers like every day, every month? Are we just buying trackers like, in perpetuity? So there's quite a lot of answers that would need to be provided. I cannot impugn corruption yet, but clearly a lot of investigation would have to go on there as far as the NPA itself as an institution is concerned. Your fuel price build-up, there's quite a lot of things on there that cannot be justified at this point, but you and I still pay for it anyway. That would have to be investigated, and where necessary, they need to be reduced. Where we need to apply them to productive users as a country, we can all discuss that. But clearly, I think that the OSP has a case on this one.
Thank you for speaking to us. That's Dan Kanamo. He's Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, Scopec. You're still listening to the City Prime News. Still ahead in the bulletin, government suspends rotation of Independence Day Parade, noting this year's event will be held at the Jubilee House. Stay with us for details of this and other stories.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
This March, we invite you to splash in the pool of cultural expressivity and soak yourself in the celebration of indigenous authenticity in our Heritage Month. Join us for the Heritage Month launch on Friday, February 28th, as we kick off a month of unforgettable experiences. Pack your bags for the Heritage Caravan, a week-long adventure across Ghana from March the 2nd to the 9th. Discover the beauty and history of our land.
It's an opportunity to see Ghana in a more beautiful, and the people, the connection.
Savor the flavors at the Back to Your Village Food Festival, a culinary extravaganza on March 29th and 30th.
The millet tozafi, the corn tozafi, we have the tubani, we have the wache, we have the dawadawa jollof rice. We also serve the local northern beverages. That's pito and zonko.
Taste the essence of Ghana.
The first one I was here, the second one I was here, the third one I was here, this one and the fourth one. And it's not just a bazaar, it's a festival now. And I'm so excited because this is what we should be doing.
Tune in to the Heritage On Air series on 97.3 Citi FM and Channel 1 TV. Each week, delve into what makes us Ghanaians.
Owusu is a general account name. It's Dev's character. Owusu. So that is why the appellation is Owusu Eduam. You see, when an Ashanti is Eduam, it means something that belongs to him. So Dev's character, he comes to you and grab you as if it belongs to him.
Explore our places of interest, feel the rhythm of our music, journey through our religious history, and indulge in indigenous Ghanaian food. Join us to celebrate our heritage this Heritage Month, where every moment is a story. Only on Channel 1 TV and 97.3 Citi FM.
Let's get Hayford, Mensa Saba, Bagrant, Sagin Ajete, and all who fought.
City Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Welcome back to the bulletin. We bring you some other stories now. The government has announced that Ghana's 68th Independence Day celebration will be held at the Jubilee House instead of Independence Square. This follows the suspension of the rotational national parade due to high costs, with last year's event in Ho reportedly costing 15 million Ghana cedis. Minister of State for Government Communication Felix Kwatiofosu assured the public that this event will still include a military guard of honor and other ceremonial activities to mark the occasion.
In the last few years, however, there has been an effort to rotate the celebrations amongst various regional capitals. Now, whereas the intentions behind that may be noble, President Mahama has asked that rotational policy be suspended. It has been discovered after some review that the rotation imposed additional costs. For that reason, he has decided that this year's celebration will not take on the spectacular form, rather than a major event at the Independence Square, where there are contingents of men from the various security agencies and hundreds of school children, I beg your pardon, from across the country who march briskly to applause and cheers. We are going to have a significant ceremony at the presidency.
So you heard the Minister of State in charge of Government Communication, Felix Kwatiofosu. We've been joined by Akosi Oche. She's a woman at the presidency for more on this. Good afternoon, Akosi. Thank you for joining us. Just a bit of clarification. Did the minister say that the event this year is going to happen at the Jubilee House? And what arrangements have they made for space for the number of people who will be coming in?
Yes, rightly as the Minister of State in charge of communication for the government indicated that this year's 68th independence celebration for Ghana will not be happening at the Independence Square as it's virtually being done. And so what the government is putting in place for that preparation, which will be happening at that Jubilee House's invitation of key heads of state in neighboring countries, and then key government officials, as well as the invitation of some specific individuals and stakeholders who will be partaking in that event that will be happening at the Jubilee House. And so we are no longer going to have the event rotating across the country. And last year it was held at Koforidua in the Eastern region. And specifically as stated by the government, in looking at their calculations and expenditure that has been, done in the last years with respect to the Independence Day celebration, it has cost the government a lot. And if you know, the government has been keen on reducing government expenditure. And so this is coming right in time for them to take this decision not to rotate the celebration.
Now, we've seen a letter signed by Felix Kwatiofosu on the government or the president ordering investigations into National Service Authority ghost name scandal. Take us through this as well.
Yes, so these names were uncovered by the Fourth Estate, looking into the head count of active National Service personnel, and they uncovered some ghost names in there that are receiving monthly allowances as well. And so the government has directed the National Investigations Bureau, NIB, to be tasked with uncovering how these fraudulent entries were created into the previous administration as the Fourth Estate has investigated. And so they haven't been given a timeline to do this investigation, but the order is that immediate probe is done as soon as possible to uncover these money that were paid to these alleged fraudulent claims.
Very well. Thank you for speaking with us. That's Akosi Otrish's presidential correspondent. We move on now to some other stories. Member of Parliament for Old Tafo, Eko Vincent Asifua, has served notice they will take legal action against the government over the revocation of recent public service appointments. Chief of Staff Julius Debra issued a directive cancelling all appointments and recruitments made after December 7, 2024. Now, Eko Asifua has described the decision as unlawful and revealed that his office is compiling details of affected individuals in preparation for a lawsuit.
As we speak, prospective persons who are going to be affected have already been engaging me, and I'm taking their details. My secretary is compiling all those persons who feel that they are going to be affected. We have also received some complaints, or if you like, some details from Ghana Water Company, because the Honorable Motawa Kibu had already issued a statement that persons who were appointed or employed after November, which November is even at variance with the strict directive from the presidency, that it is supposed to be persons after 7th of December. But that is okay. We have received details of these persons, and we are doing the compilation. As and when we see that we've had enough or appreciable number of persons who are affected, we will head to court to make sure that we protect the rights of these persons under the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
Well, he further insists the appointments were taken through the right procedures, demanding that the government furnishes the country with its basis for terminating these appointments.
The fact that you were given an appointment after 7th December is not in itself illegal, or cannot in itself be illegal. There are two possibilities to this. It is either the appointment or the said appointment is illegal or illegal, i.e., it is either the said appointment is within the tenets of the law or otherwise. That is the point I really want to drum home for the Ghanaian people to understand. 2, it is illegal if and only if the right or the proper procedure in giving an appointment to someone was not followed. So in the event that the processes, which processes should have warranted for a financial clearance should have also warranted for an advertisement in the daily. The advertisement should have also warranted for a constitution of a body under the PSC to interview persons. Such interview was also conducted. Then after the interview, qualified persons were shortlisted. Then the shortlisted persons also warranted for an appointment letter. If this process was duly followed, then I'm sorry. His Excellency the President will be going against Article 191 of the 1992 Constitution. Unless, of course, the Presidency can prove that such appointments were done with great disregard to the due process as it has been enshrined under the Public Service Commission Act.
Right. That's a Member of Parliament for Ota for Echo Vincent Asifwa. Away from that, the Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP Frank Abrokwa has been reassigned to the police headquarters in Accra. His transfer follows the chaos that erupted during the Council of State election on February 11, 2025 at the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council. Sources suggest his inability to manage the situation led to this decision. Now, the disruption occurred when unidentified individuals noticing their candidate was losing interrupted the process and vandalized electoral materials. DCOP Abrokwa declined to comment on the matter. Now, the Chief Executive Officer of the Zera Group of Companies, Seidu Agongo, insists the Opuni trial was a deliberate attempt to damage his reputation. In 2018, he and former Cocoa Board CEO Dr. Stephen Kwabena Opuni were charged with causing a financial loss of 271.3 million cedis over a fertilizer supply contract. Speaking on Face-to-Face on Channel 1 TV, Seidu Agongo maintained that a court never proved he supplied adulterated materials to Cocoa Board.
You said I have supplied fertilizer, adulterated fertilizer. You never even brought one single farmer to come and testify to the fact that I have used little wheat and little wheat is not good. You never. The person who came and make a report against me, Dr. Duampuma, he was the deputy CEO in charge of agronomy and quality control. He is the one who did everything. So you realize that the entirety of the case was just for a purpose. It wasn't against the reality. After all, going to prison doesn't hinder whatever I want to become, because most presidents have gone to prison, come back and be president.
But you kept going back and forth to the Supreme Court, insisting that he should be removed. You thought he was biased against
Yes,
you.
because of certain utterances he makes.
Well, Seidu Agongo further called for stronger legal protection for investors in Ghana.
Some of these issues have to look at critically, because Ghana as a country, we are just 31 million people. We cannot survive without investors. Investors are only guaranteed with the law. I'll convince an investor to come, but the investor will look at the laws. What sort of laws protect my investment? Protect me as a business person. If such laws are not looked at, I don't think anybody will be interested in investing in Ghana. Because, when it comes to criminal cases, I think the demeanor of the witnesses is also part of the case in determining whether he's guilty or he's not guilty. The way that, so if the case goes to another judge, the judge has to have an entirety, because you are looking at my freedom. You are looking at me committing a crime and sentence me, which makes me become an ex-convict. So why destroy me without having full facts of the case?
So for you, you don't think that a new judge will come and take over halfway a case? Even though the Supreme Court has made that decision, you disagree?
I disagree with the Supreme Court.
Even though it's a new law now?
Chief Executive Officer of Zera Group of Companies, Seydou Agongo, he was speaking to Maru Sanda Amadou on Face to Face on Channel 1 TV. And that brings us to the end of today's edition of the Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Adabraka, Accra. Please log on to citynewsroom.com for more stories. I am Ajua Tinkrama Domina. Many thanks for your company. Good afternoon.
Citi News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on